Somebody asks, what's the best way to help a mentally unstable INFJ? In a general sense, starting with what would apply to everyone, I'd say look for things like therapy and programs publicly that might be helpful. Talk to, and this is going to sound cliche, talk to your health provider or that INFJ's health provider. Have them talk to their health provider and seek help mentally, externally, the help that's available to all of us in society. As an aside, I'll just say that I, as an INFJ, wanted to seek therapy for a long, long time, years and years, and I never did because I just assumed it was going to be too hard to do. I thought it would cost too much. I didn't know how to bring it up with my doctor. I had a lot of reasons why I kept putting it off until finally I just hit a breaking point, and someone I know, which maybe you can be to this INFJ that you're asking about, someone I know was there when I broke and when I asked for help to give me the pragmatic tools I needed to take those next steps. See, INFJs, we live in our own internal world of perception and vision and seeing connections and seeing meaning. But we're sort of detached from the everyday procedural worlds that we come across, the systems that are in place set by thinkers and sensors who understand processes and how to get good results from resources that are available. That's not really an INFJ strong suit. So if you're in an INFJ's life who you think needs mental help, you can be there when they need it to help show them how easy it is to get therapy. It worked for me. I sought the help finally that I needed, and it was great. And I think that INFJs, of all people, not saying that they would be the most susceptible or the most benefited by therapy, but they're definitely going to be high up there because INFJs want to improve ourselves. We don't want to be stuck. Our mission in life is too important to us. We are a J type after all. We don't want to just sit and speculate and see our inner vision world forever. We want to become the sort of person that can do something useful with what we see. That's true across the board for all INFJs. And nothing can be more helpful for that than therapy and meeting with, I would recommend, I'm going a little bit too far on this aside, but I think it will be useful. I would recommend helping your INFJ, or if you are an INFJ watching this, meeting with many therapists in a group, or meeting with many different types of mental health professionals, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, whatever it is, marriage and family therapist, counselor, meeting with all of them and all of those different professional perspectives can be useful, can come into your INFJ inward perspective, and I believe INFJs will be very open to receiving that help as soon as they start to see how it serves their vision in life, how it can set them free to be the people that they are driven to be. You know, there's a reason that even though INFJs are such a small population in the world, we're so active on Myers-Briggs boards and Quora and YouTube and all the places where people are talking about being an INFJ. You'd think there's a lot more of us than there are, because the reason for that is we want to maximize our potential. We want to become the best versions of ourselves, the most useful versions to the world, to other people, and we don't want to be stuck or hindered by the problems that we face in life, that we all face. So help is out there. Help your INFJ take those practical steps. That's the general advice I would give. More specifically, considering what it is about INFJs that might make us struggle inwardly and make us feel inadequate or lean toward our neuroticism at times, or lose hope, or create barriers for ourselves that hold us back in life. Generally, it's because we don't believe that it's possible, for some reason, to do the things we want to do, to be a good person and a successful person and a useful person in the world around us. We think we're too different, we're too much of an alien, we're too unlike anyone else. No one else sees things the way we do. When we try to put our perspective forth in group conversations, everyone goes quiet and looks at us like we're just so weird, and we feel that so deeply because we're very aware of others' perspectives and how they see us. And yes, we like to jump in with headcanons, as they're called, and weave a very complex narrative of how the people in our lives are judging us and what that says about us. And so what that really amounts to is not trusting the combination of our cognitive functions and what they can lead us to if we let them. If we own the fact that we are introverted intuitives, first and foremost. We do live in this unique, idiosyncratic, daydreamy world that on its own is nonsensical to other people. It can take a long, long time for an INFJ to accept that about themselves, to really identify with the core of what is our personality. Myers-Briggs is very helpful in that regard, and I think that's why you see INFJs getting so into Myers-Briggs and talking about it, and so active in discussing it, because it can help us identify with that core aspect of our being at last. And from there, we can start to step out and grow. And the way we tend to do that, the basic process, is by using our intuition to see what's important to other people through what's called extroverted feeling. So instead of staying stuck forever inside in a world we don't believe can ever be made real or useful or helpful to anyone else, instead of being stuck in that, we find ways to connect with other people. We join groups, we join discussions, we step out and talk to people and put ourselves in uncomfortable situations where we're with other people and using our intuition in those situations. And that's the role of the auxiliary function for any type, to bring you out of your comfort zone and to force you to grow, to force you to use that fundamental aspect of yourself, the comfort zone, the dominant function. For us, it's introverted intuition. The auxiliary function forces you to step out and use it in a world that's uncomfortable for you, but that's necessary. And that's where you'll start to see that there is actually potential for you as an INFJ. When you aren't just stuck either on a mountaintop or an insane asylum, looping your own perspective around and around, but you're actually in a world with other people and looking at them and feeling what they feel. That's where you can start to see that you do have potential and that there is hope for you that you might have never believed was there before, or maybe you did when you were young, but life has taught you time and time again, no. There is, but that's the avenue that Myers-Briggs points you to rediscover that hope and rediscover really a sense of purpose and self that you might have long since given up believing in. That's as specific as I want to get in this video. It's getting a little bit long, so I'll leave it there. But I think first those general guidelines of finding practical ways to seek help, even though as an INFJ, taking practical steps is not your strong suit. And at the same time, stepping out into situations where you can see other people, hear other people, and feel their values and what's important to them, you can start to grow. You can start to change your perspective, undo some of the limitations that have held you back, and rewrite some of the narratives that you've gotten used to weaving for yourself about why it's impossible for you to achieve what's in you as an INFJ to achieve.